Dr. Joe, you will be the first one to speak.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Introduce everyone. Make sure your microphone close to your mouth.
Yes, yes, but without
Oh,
that, it's
oh,
better.
it is
Now it's
perfect.
better, yes.
It is perfect. How many? 몇 초 남았습니까? 몇 초? 몇 초 몰라요? Nobody knows?
Can I start?
Just 1 second.
Oh, yes.
Let me know when it comes to 10 seconds. Okay, it is time, I think. Can you go now?
Yes.
Two? Okay. So, Dr. Joe, let's go in 5 seconds. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of our participants and audience around the world. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar. My name is Hyodan Estelle Cho. I'm an assistant professor at Wheaton University. The Asia Pacific Tourism Association and Wheaton University co-host DTU Webinar Series to think together the impact on tourism education during and after COVID-19 by inviting renowned experts from all around the world. Today, we will focus on issues and challenges toward tourism education during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. So I would like to welcome our keynote speaker and panelist. Good evening, Professor Jerome Arguza from Hawaii.
Aloha.
Hello. Aloha. So
It's
good afternoon.
10:30 in the evening here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, yes. And good afternoon, Professor Sang Thinh Nim from Vietnam.
Hello, how are you? Xin chào. Xin chào.
Xin chào, xin chào. And good evening, Professor Asad Mohsin from New Zealand. Hello.
Kia ora, tina koto katoa.
And good afternoon, Professor Pankaj Namsong Nichitai Nuat.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawasdee ka. And good afternoon, Professor Chen Ping Wang from Taiwan.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. 大家好。
大家好.
Great. Our webinar will take around 1 hour. So the keynote speaker presents a review of the theme, and then 4 panelists each have 10 minutes to provide additional perspectives. And we will also have time for questions at the end. And now we are privileged to have who awarded Napore Pahana Hospitality Educator for the year from Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association, Professor Jerome Arguza, joining us as a keynote speaker. Professor Arguza from University of Hawaii is well regarded for his expertise in research and teaching in the area of hospitality and tourism management. And he is on the board of directors for the Asia Pacific Tourism Association and the past president of Travel and Tourism Research Association Hawaii chapter. So we will turn the time over to our keynote speaker, Professor Jerome Arguza. So
Okay.
could you please start your presentation?
Yep. Aloha, everybody.
Hello.
Aloha.
Okay. Can we see the PowerPoint? Great. Okay.
PowerPoint is okay, but the sound is a little bit low. Small.
The voice?
Voice, yeah.
It's okay. I can hear you well.
Okay. We'll try. Okay, aloha, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you. I am honored to be invited to speak today. I appreciate DTU for the invitation, and we are all here ready to try to understand some of the challenges as well as the opportunities that COVID-19 has presented to the tourism industry and education throughout the world. One thing I'd like to start with is that we have to be cautioned that what holds true today, June 23rd, 2020, may not hold true in 3 weeks or even 6 months from now. We're in a very, very fluid situation. A little overview I'm going to go over today. I'm going to share some of the opportunities in tourism education. We're going to look at the drawbacks and challenges that are faced by tourism education, future perspective, as well as some implications. You know, one of the things that's happening right now, it's rapidly changing situation. Universities really need to be flexible, whether they're here in the United States, Hawaii, or throughout the world. And adaptability is required during these opportune as well as challenging times. You know, with all challenges, there comes opportunities. And, you know, no one could have predicted what COVID has done to the tourism industry, to the education industry, and specifically the education of tourism. Universities had to stop face-to-face classes during COVID-19. And in 1 week, we went from face-to-face. We had spring break. We came back, no more face-to-face. Everything had to go online. And I'm sure most of the universities around the world had to face this as well. And this actually was an opportunity. It changed the higher education system, especially here in the United States, where prior most universities didn't have online classes, and everyone had to change to online. We're in the College of Business now, and one of the things for our accreditation was to limit the number of online classes prior to COVID. But this came with challenges. It forced universities to change the way they teach, to move into 2020. But it had a digital shift in teaching and learning. So this was an opportunity. Many of the students already are glued to their devices, whether it's a laptop or iPad or a phone. But a lot of the faculty, we had to quickly change. And it came with challenges. There's technological issues that are a major challenge. I'm sure that we've all been on a Zoom meeting or Teams meeting where something goes down, where the voice doesn't work, things like that. I was giving a presentation to the University of Northern Illinois a few weeks ago, and there were about 200 plus students. And all of a sudden, someone was able to turn off the audio, then we had to turn it back on a number of times during the presentation. So these types of things happen. And I think right now we need to have a digitalized boot camp for professors, because professors, like me personally, when I first started to go to school, there were no computers. We used the typewriter to hand in our papers. In the 1970s, when I went to college, there was no computers. And most of us, we just not up to snuff with what some of the things are of this rapidly changing technology. And with that comes opportunities, technology tools to deliver the product, like right now, Zoom, high-speed internet, Teams, which is put out by Microsoft, FaceTime by Apple. There's just so many opportunities that we can still transfer knowledge without being face-to-face. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges that's going to come is for administration. It's a challenge and an opportunity. The old models of predicting enrollment in the classrooms, the number of students, will not hold up. How students? Right now at the University of Hawaii for the fall, we're going to have 3 different types of classes. Online 100%, face-to-face 100%, or hybrid, half-half. Because of the social distancing requirement, if you have a class of 30, you have to be in a classroom that holds 60 or more seats. Everyone has to be spread out. And there's not that many classrooms, especially in some of the largest classes, to have that much space. So if you have a class of 50 people, you'll have to split them So 25 will come on Tuesday, and then the other 25 will come on Thursday. We'll have to be a hybrid. Another big challenge that's facing us is less international students in the classes. Norway has said no international students for the fall semester. I'm on the graduate faculty of a university over there. And in March, they decided that there's going to be no international students for the fall. All international students will have to go to school online. Today, United States, the president said he was going to not sign off on any H-1B, H-2B, and J-1 visas. So for J-1 is for the international students. There's approximately 72,000 J-1 visas every year, plus their families, which is another 12,000 or so. And today, the president said that he's not going to sign that. So there'll be less international students in the United States universities, which is not a good thing. I was very fortunate. I was able to go to school in other countries, and it definitely the world is flat now. We all need to be around each other. Another opportunity is that we can, though going online, now students can attend classes from anywhere in the world. They don't have to be in Hawaii to go to University of Hawaii. They could be back in Norway, or they could be in Korea, or they could be in Vietnam. But there's some big challenges that are facing us. We have a generational shift in education, where this generation, there's a community learning. We have community tables in libraries. We have community tables at Starbucks, but now that's all out. We have social distancing. So even Starbucks has to take out the community table. The libraries have to tape off the larger tables to keep people separated. And this is what COVID has done at this time. Until we come with some form of vaccine, I think that this is going to stay. But it has an opportunity, individual learning, e-learning, students learning online. And with that, it comes more challenges. If a student has to stay home to learn, there's more distractions at home. I know when I was in college, the day before the final or day before an exam was the day I cleaned my house the best. I did my laundry. I procrastinated. I did all the things except study. It was amazing how clean the house was the day before exams. But with technology, we can integrate virtual reality into the classrooms. But another challenge that happens when we go totally online, especially for seminar classes or graduate classes, the discussion element is missing when doing online classes. I teach the capstone strategic management class. And when we went the last 7 weeks, a number of the students said to me, Dr. A, I wish we were still face-to-face. It's just hard to get everybody to participate, especially when we're online. But we have the COVID-19 pivot. And with this, now you have the opportunity to look at case studies in the class or build out real life challenges that our industry is facing, whether it's the airlines, the hotels, the resorts, and the restaurants. Classroom would be looking at something that's really, really going to be effective. I know that many of the places are still closed down, but here's an opportunity for it to increase and come up with some real solutions. And like we said earlier, one of the biggest challenges is you can't see each other face to face. And a lot of times students just don't join in with the discussion. But we have, again, technology, virtual reality. It's amazing what can be done with virtual reality. Another challenge, though, is online classes can be boring because you have to just sit and listen. This is one of my students. This is what they look like when I look up at them in their online classes, except they usually have their eyes closed. But we have another opportunity, augmented reality. I don't know if you folks know what this is. It's a new type of technology, and it's working very, very well. And with new levels of technology, you have another opportunity, augmented marketing, where we can take a destination and they could see it in a 3D before they come and visit. Another challenge with online classes, though, it is more difficult to communicate with the professor and our fellow classmates. But comes with challenges, opportunities. Experience comes from guest speakers, webinars like we have right now. And thank you, Dr. Lim, for putting this together. And it's amazing what we have, so many webinars now that are informational and a great opportunity to network with people. And the future of tourism education is to be able to adapt. We have to adapt very, very quickly. Students have to be self-motivated. No more that I can't do it. They have to do it. You have to get yourself up and do it, especially when you're online. Also, communication skills. You should try to develop and strengthen your interpersonal communication skills. It's an opportunity. You get to meet people from all over the world, still in on a laptop without going and traveling, and you can then make some networking this way. And again, networking with industry professionals, have webinars. Hopefully the university will use some of their alumni, and you can connect this way, and hopefully you'll reach out and drop an email or drop a note. But face-to-face contact will continue to be the major aspect of our industry. People want to travel. People have to see people when they go into hotels, when they go to resorts, when they go to restaurants. And much of what a student learned and how they learn depends on firsthand experience. And I would really emphasize making sure we all know that internships are important. Now the major corporations and cruise ships even, and the resorts, they've hit some real financial trouble. So if the internship is offered, even if it's not for pay, I would highly recommend taking that internship at this time. March 1st, my strategic management class, every single student had a job. Every single student that was graduating in May had a management training position. By March 17th, they were all rescinded. They all lost their job. They all didn't have a management training job. You know, we had 10 million tourists last year. Visit Hawaii. My island has only 900,000 people. And now we have 450 tourists come a day. We went from 30,000 a day to 450. So it's going to change. The tourism products around the world haven't been destroyed. You know, people come to see beautiful places, historical places. Here in Hawaii, people come to see the beach, to learn the culture, the beautiful landscape. All those things are actually improved because we have less people coming here at this time. So the product didn't change. The product actually got better. So tourism will come back. It will come back. And they're going to need tourism professionals to work it and manage it. Other future tourism education, try to make sure you go on site visits to both our resorts, convention centers, restaurants, and an opportunity to experience what we're trying to sell. This is our convention center here, and it's very versatile. We use it for conventions, but we use it for actually basketball tournaments. And we actually just used it when we had this huge crush of unemployment. We went from the lowest unemployment in the United States, from 0 to 37% in 3 weeks. So 240,000 people were unemployed out of 600,000 in 3 weeks because all the hotels shut down, all the resorts shut down. So what happened is they had to convert this convention center into, put in 200 plus desks and process the unemployment. Site visits can assist students in understanding the logistics of operating restaurants and hotels. Now, finally, some implications. Implications for the universities. There's a new way of doing business, from both forecasting to instruction. The university has to look at this as an opportunity to look at how education has changed. Technology, new systems are needed for the new virtual classrooms, for professors as well as for students. Also, human connection, developing personal communication skills through technology. And we are all learning as this technology grows very quickly, but it's opportunity for the students as well as for the faculty to learn how to connect by virtual online. But finally, personal touch. We're in the people service business, and guests have to be reassured that they are safe in our hotels, our resorts, our restaurants, and our airlines. And it's the employees and our hospitality students that will have to provide this reassurance. People have to believe that they are safe when they come to visit your hotel, your restaurant, and getting on your airplane. We just finished a study and we asked 1,000 travelers, what are some of the things that would make them feel better about going on an airplane? And one of them was the reconfiguration of the airline seats. Having more, we asked them, would you be willing to pay more and have the more business class seats and spread out? And the majority of the people answered yes. So this is one of the areas that we have to address, that people have to feel safe. I know that Hilton Hotels just now signed a partnership with Lysol Disinfectant so that they will be sanitizing all the rooms. And one of the things that the hotels are doing here is they're taking out all pens, paper, etc., and only keeping the remote control for the TV. And that remote control for the TV is going to be in a plastic bag. So when they push, when people change rooms, that there will only be that. There'll be no room service for a while, and they will not change the sheets in the rooms while people are in there. They will wait till they check out. A couple of takeaways from the presentation today. Be flexible. This goes to the students as well as the universities. Try to be flexible. It's a time that we have to really, show our flexibility and show patience. Patience with our tourists, patience with our employees, show some emotional intelligence as well as cultural intelligence. We have people that will be traveling from around the world and not understanding what are some of the things that are going on, such as here in Hawaii, you have to wear a mask whenever you're out in public. Now, you have to wear it when you go in a store, you have to wear it when you're in the class. And these masks are, my wife actually made this. My wife is a fashion designer, so she makes these Hawaiian masks. And, we have to show patience. When people don't know that they have to wear a mask, they have to be told. Okay, being resilient, facing challenges and moving forward stronger. This is something that the students really have to try to grasp onto. This is a challenge. This is a bump in the road, but you can overcome this. And make the most of your online environment. Go out there and meet people online. I personally, I belong to LinkedIn, but I don't have a Facebook page. So the students always say to me, Dr. Negrusa, you don't exist. You don't have a Facebook page. I know, I don't exist. But I do use LinkedIn, and I think that that's an opportunity for people to connect that way. And last, setting your own online goals. This will end soon. Like I said, I believe, that there will be a vaccine. We have too many smart people in the world that are working on a vaccine for COVID-19. And there's so much resources being thrown at it. Money, real money, billions of dollars. So I believe that there will be a vaccine and we will overcome this. But until then, you should try to set some of your online goals, especially if your classes or your webinars are online. Currently, I believe we're like a cruise ship in a storm. But with this new generation leading our industry and our students, I think the future is looking very, very bright. I think that there's answers out there and that our industry will survive and will actually thrive. As we say in Hawaii, mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much and aloha.
Thank you.
For this excellent speech. Yes, just a reminder, we will have time for questions and comments at the end. So let's move to panel presentations. And our first panelist is Professor Sang-Taek Lim. He is the Dean of Hospitality and Tourism Institute of Wheaton University. It is the top leading institute in Vietnam for its academic excellence and practical competence. And Dean Nim was the chairman of Asia Pacific Tourism Association for 8 years. So Dean Nim, are you ready for the presentation?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Joe, for your kind introduction. It's my honor, and I'm also glad to see you all. How are you, sir, and how are you, ma'am? Today, I would like to share the Wheaton University's experience in the global pandemic of COVID-19. Right after coronavirus broke out, the DTU shut down our campus completely from February for nearly 3 months. And then online class was introduced from mid-March, and we decided to reopen the school on April 27th. So we came back to normal, kind of old normal, not new normal. So which is the face-to-face class education from that day. So far has been 6 months. I'm sorry, 6 weeks, but we haven't seen any one single corona case confirmed. So we are very lucky. We are the Vietnam, the government is controlling the coronavirus situation very well. So we are enjoying and we've been, doing very good. So we are now having normal class. So our online class was for only a month, but I'd like to share our experience about our online class. So here are the current situation of Wheaton University, and I have summarized by 3 categories: the university level and the student level, and finally the industry level. At the early stage, the university, we have suffered some difficulties to adjust in new environments. And in HTI wise, we had some problem because we cannot introduce all the classes, online classes, to all the subjects, which was only limited subjects only. And another problem was the online class management assessment. So which is still we are going on to improve this issue. And the student side, the student, they need various needs as well. The lack of online class experiences. The students don't have the experience yet. Therefore, their satisfaction level is not that high. And also, the new environment is asking students more and better computer skills as well. And let me go to the industry side. The enterprises, the hotel and tourism industry, they are also not familiar with remote and online internship at all. So these are the current situation of the DTU HTI, and we will need to overcome shortcomings. And next slide, I'm going to show you the student survey result, which I have conducted in early June. There are 850 respondents from my institute, Hospitality and Tourism Institute. And here's what they like and what they don't like about online class. The majority of our respondents said that it is convenient and it was more comfort because they didn't have to come to school. And also they enjoyed the less mobility. They don't have to travel to school. So in that way, they could save time and money a little bit for transportation. And what they don't like was the number one answer was the poor internet connection. But I have checked with the university headquarters, and our university is providing the highest quality internet environment. But the students, I think they misunderstand a little bit because their side, their internet environment from their side is not as fast enough as university provides. So it is our plan to publicize and promote, to our students to understand the situation. And also students, they didn't like, because it is a little bit hard to comprehend the lecture, and also the less interaction with the lecturers, which they don't enjoy at all. And next slide. Here are what our students want. They would like to have a better and stronger internet connection. As I told you just before, and they need to improve their environment of internet. And they want more vivid teaching method and the better sound and image. So mainly is, their demand is about the facility and the visualize the teaching materials. So the results are nothing new, but I think it was a nice approach to hear from our students about what they're thinking about online class education. And this is our institute's plans to correspond to the new environments of online environments. Our institute is going to provide more visualized teaching materials. So we have discussed with our all the faculty members and to pay more attention to produce better quality, more visualized teaching materials for our students. And also we need to adjust the curriculum a little bit for online education, especially for practical subjects. And also we'd like to take this opportunity to strengthen ICT education for our students. And also we need to prepare for new campus culture, to develop new campus culture for a new normal. For example, the social distancing, and we need to avoid unnecessary gatherings as much as we can. Those will be the main issues for the new normal environment. And let me move on to student side. We would like to make students online friendly. So since it is, they never experienced this kind of online environment. So they are not online friendly. So we have to make them, we need to train them so that they can be more online friendly after all. And also we need to encourage our students and to invite more interaction during classes, online lectures. So of course, the lecturers, they have to pay more attention to draw more attention from students in order to have more interaction during online lectures. And also we are planning introducing online buddies policy. So in other words, we are going to pair students so that they can communicate at remote places. And finally, the industry side, we are going to develop more collaborating online platforms one of major example could be the online cafe, so that our students can communicate with professionals of industry through the online cafe. And finally, the online internship, by video and live broadcasting. So we are going to discuss with industry to develop the online internship programs. So these are all we are planning now. And if you have more experiences or other comments to share with me, so please do so. So it'll be a great help for us. So this is, my presentation today, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Denim, for this delicate presentation. And it is my honor to invite our next panelist, Dr. Asad Mohsin, Professor of Tourism and Hospitality Management at the University of Waikato, New Zealand. He has been chairperson of Department of Marketing and director of the Institute for Business Research at the University of Waikato. So, Professor Asad Mohsin.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready. Maybe you can put on my first slide. Okay, first of all, I would like to really thank Dr. Lim and Dr. Chu for putting up this webinar together. And thanks to other colleagues who are sharing their experiences. When I was thinking about this webinar, there was something which was striking me. And I thought that when you read a lot of papers and a lot of articles which are being published related to COVID-19, we seem to be concentrated on one aspect, whether that relates to the students, or it relates to the staff, or it relates to the resources at the universities, or it relates to the digital technology. Many of us did not think about the home where the student is living. And that home environment plays a very significant role in making sure the effectiveness of this teaching. That home environment also gets linked to the culture of where the student, and I have experienced that when I'm talking to my students who are doing dissertation with me, a master dissertation, 3-4 different students who are at the present in China, that they all in different homes with different variety of accesses and things available to them had a very different view and had very different questions to ask. And it did become a challenge when you think that how do you really explain it to them? Because when they were here in New Zealand, I will take them to my office, they'll sit down with me in the office and they show them different books and show them different features. And then they are able to understand or comprehend a bit of that. That becomes a little difficult while we're doing it on Zoom. So if we go to the first slide. Yes, so we know that online delivery obviously has become at the heart of the whole education system. Even we had to move from face-to-face classes to online classes within 1 week. So the university was closed for 1 week and the staff only had that 1 week to move from face-to-face to online. That was a big challenge. It was a challenge for which people were not prepared. It was a challenge for staff and the students were not prepared. And it was a challenge even for the staff from our technology department or ITS. I think one of the things that we are experiencing, that some of the environment at home, which we mostly took for granted, it changed. Even in my case, individually, I found it really changed. Now, some people will feel that the home becomes distraction. But the home has also given some people, like in my case, where it's only me and my wife, it actually improved productivity in my case. And there were so many other examples like that who say that actually they feel better. But I also realized one thing. You wake up in the morning, maybe 6 or 6:30, and you immediately have your laptop with you and you start working while you're still in bed and having tea. Now, it's not a good practice, but I filled up my car in first week of March. And that fill tank in my car lasted me until the end of May or first week of June. So that is one more thing that you start to see. But anyway, if we start to look at that, what sort of a comforts, what can the universities do in order to improve the facilities for the students who are studying from home? That was something we experienced as a part of COVID-19. A lot of students could have very good devices. Some of them may not have it at all. And that became a challenge. Like Dr. Lim's presentation showed that how many of these students complained about the having a good internet connection and a stronger internet connection. Now, the home, in many cases, when I talk to colleagues now, it became everything for them. You know, it was their office, it was their cafe, it was their restaurant. Family members started to gel with each other in a very different environment. Now, in some cases, it did not work, but in other cases, it worked absolutely brilliantly. And that is again something that we learned during this time from our education perspective, that how best we can withdraw from the circumstances that have been created. And as we will see, obviously, the possibilities are enormous. Yes, possibilities, as we have learned from our keynote speaker, that they come with challenges. But if you know the possibilities, then you know the challenges, you have an opportunity to work. And the best way to work is like what we are doing now, to share our experience and see the real life issues being talked, discussed, and worked. Could we go to the next slide, please? Now, of course, safety is a priority. In New Zealand, we started this tracking system. The whole university, every time you enter, you have an app on your phone, and whether you go to the loo or you go to your office or you go to any other place, you were always tracked. And in a way that was good, because if something was to emerge, we had the whole contact details of the people, and we know that's where we can do that. Now, the issue that we are going to face as a response for tomorrow, that how the universities are going to communicate with the several other stakeholders. I think one major thing that we have learned, and we are working on that the universities need to start to connect with different communities locally. And that a lot of universities have a lot of connections with businesses, but we do not have that strong engagement and connections with local communities. And these local communities have a lot of knowledge to share. And that knowledge becomes important for us to help our students and also to help the shape that the university education can take in coming time. This requires that we need to have a good data collected. And that data collection is important from a perspective that we should know what is the source of the data and how reliable the data is. And if over a period of time, we can accumulate a good data, that analysis of that data can give us an option and opportunities to see that, well, what actions we could take. I know several universities would have done that. They would have created as a way forward a crisis team. In our case, our crisis team was actually led by the Vice Chancellor. And the amount of communication that we have had from the Vice Chancellor during this time, I have never seen before. And that was an excellent example that how a person at the top level became engaged with every staff member working at the university. Every second day, every third day, we had a message or we had a video or we had other things with them. So, which was an excellent way. And I think that is very important. We do talk of reliable data, which of course underpins. Many universities in many places were not really prepared for such a crisis, or even in short, any crisis, management put it together. And this is another learning for tomorrow for us, that how educational institution could prepare for a crisis for future, and how we can manage those crises. Collaborations, understanding internal and external collaborations, public relations play a significant role, especially when you're trying to recover from a crisis. Of course, technology plays a significant role. I mean, I'm going to have all my lectures recorded in short videos. We are using technology. I'm using technology I've never used before. You know, having a light board and using a light board to write the my points and lectures and record them and let the students use them. It is a new experience for me. So yes, it has given me an opportunity that what I could be doing for tomorrow. I think it is important that we have to scan the long-term horizons, and we have to understand that what sort of resources and what sort of communications will be required in time to come. We have to be careful that the environment in which the student is, how can the universities help that environment to improve the effectiveness of their learning? This is a start. We'll have a lot to discuss and a lot to learn. But I thank you for the opportunity that you have provided. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mohsin, for this enthusiastic presentation. And I'm happy to invite now Professor Bunkosh Namsom Digitai. Professor Bunkosh is Dean of the International College and Program Director for the International Program in Hotel and Tourism Management at CM University, Bangkok, Thailand. And she is the founder of the World Conference on Hospitality, Tourism, and Event Research. So, Professor Bunkosh.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ค่ะ As of June 23rd, as of June 23rd, 2020, almost 9 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported, with almost 500,000 deaths. Many of our global community members have lost their family and life. Deaths surround us. The future becomes less and less certain. Many of us lost their job, their business, and their income. We only realize how lucky we are when we lost someone. We only miss the job when we lost it. It is necessary to lock down the border and tourism to protect the life of the one who leave. As compared to the one who have suffered from personal pain, we are lucky. We must pass the crisis together. And this is something that I think is very important that we have to address during the COVID-19. The first thing that we have to think about is about giving empathy to our students, their family and friends who have suffered from the COVID-19, how they are able to live and also become strong and also go through this difficult situation. We also have to teach our students, our alumni, and our stakeholders about failure celebration. It is very difficult to accept failure, but failure is the gateway to success. Now is the time to think about new business opportunity. And one of the most important things is about psychological resilience. In fact, my colleague and I have just published a paper which will be released this month is about the reaction of the stakeholder toward the COVID-19 and also other crises. Based on our study, it is very important to identify the kind of new business opportunity. And thanks to the Thai hospitality, which have been embedded to the Thai citizen, Thai people are very kind to respond to the need of the clients. And during the COVID-19, because of the Thai hospitality, we have identified new market opportunity. While many upscale hotels in Bangkok and also in Thailand have been closed due to the COVID-19, there are some business travelers who would like to extend their stay to stay in the hotel rather than going back to their country because they perceive Thailand healthcare is better than what they have in their country. And this is another market opportunity for the Thai people to be able to respond to the need of the clients. And what is the foundation of the psychological resilience that is very important to teach our students at this difficult time? It has the foundation from the Buddha teaching about impermanent, no self-attachment, and the growth mindset. During this difficult time, it's important to build the growth mindset to the people. We are unable to live with the pain. The sorrow must disappear soon, but we have to have the growth mindset to be able to become strong again. When we talk about the COVID-19, most of us think about the drawback. However, any crisis also have marketing and also opportunity. For example, in one of the articles about the crisis management, I found that crisis is an opportunity. Many travelers, both leisure and business traveler, they are very concerned about safety and security. What tourism suppliers have to do is to increase the safety and security to the level that the client can be confident. And because of the crisis management, we are able to show the client about the safety and security that they can get when coming to our property. And that is a crisis which have an opportunity to offer. Meanwhile, I also found that the crisis like the COVID-19, in fact, is a good opportunity for us to think about the risks, which is now the actual risks, not the perceived risks. Actual risks require action. I'm glad that many governments of many countries and also the private and stakeholders in tourism industry have temporarily shut down the business to respond to the safety and security of the community. Because perceived risks is the time that we are able to continue the business, but actual risks is the time that we have to temporarily close to protect the life of the stakeholder. It is also the time for the break for contemplation. When we think about the COVID-19, it is also an opportunity. Like in education, this is a very good time for the transition to digital education. We have seen students study with us online learning. We are able to communicate with the faculty from different countries because of the online teaching. And thanks to the COVID-19, which make this become faster. At the same time, the COVID-19 also increased the standard of hygiene to our students, our faculty community. Many times we neglect the importance of the sanitation because we think that physical distancing is not important. But during the pandemic outbreak, like the COVID-19, it's already encourage us to ensure about the safety and security. As compared to our students, they may not have enough experience about the disease, but the faculty members have encountered and experienced the disease such as SARS, H1N1, Zika, or MERS virus. Therefore, the COVID-19 is another opportunity to increase the safety and security in terms of healthcare in our community. And the most important thing, to increase the quality of the education, it is also necessary to create the crisis awareness and also increase the social etiquette, such as cover sneeze to increase the hygiene. We also have to think about the misinformation from the social media. At the same time, from the Asia Pacific perspective, it's important to think about the xenophobia, because many times Asian appearance may create the tension, but when we have increased our hygiene and sanitation, it also can increase and enhance our image. Of course, corporate social responsibility is important, and it's time for us to teach and also to implement such practice during the COVID-19. In conclusion, the topic to be taught during the COVID-19 is not just the content in the travel and tourism industry, but we also have to integrate the preventative measure against the pandemics. Not only this pandemic, in the future, our students will have chance to encounter disease, terrorism, natural disaster, that they may be able to prepare when they have already experienced the COVID-19. At the same time, we also have to build spiritual teaching to increase the psychological resilience based on the religion. And the importance of crisis management and resilience must be done with empathy. And this is what I would like to share with the panel today. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Professor Bumkush, for this interesting presentation that shows different perspectives. So our last panelist is Professor Chen-Ping Wang from Department of Tourism at Cixin University, Taiwan. And he was chair of Department of Tourism at Cixin University. So Professor Wang?
Yes.
Could
Which
please...
yes. I will present follow this the question gave me. And the first one is, how is the tourism educator sector responding to the COVID-19? I think the next one, yes, next one, please, yeah. And I think the first thing is the number of applicants decreased dramatically in previously. I think because the crisis affected the tourism, and the application, the high school students will apply our department, our program. Usually we should pick up 70 students from more than 700 students, but this year less than 500. So I think it's affected a lot now this year. And the second, fortunately, in Taiwan, the pandemic is not so seriously, and most courses are still running, but with curtain measure. For example, we still do the temperature check. We have put on the mask in the class, and we have kept the distance from others. And the biggest problem for tourism education is the internship and the service practice are all stopped currently. Because the five-star hotel is there's no guests in the hotel, so they sometimes they lay off their staff, so they don't care our students to doing their internship. So internship and service practice are all stopped. I think the biggest problem especially for those for the hospitality program students. The fourth is although we started to preparing online course through internet, and including hardware, software, and the teaching skills. And based on the CDC policy, more than 2 students in one get COVID-19 in one class. And in one class, the whole school have to shut down for 2 weeks. And students have to study at home and continue remaining course through the online system. So we do prepare online course through internet. That's a big for at least for me it's a big problem because I'm not familiar with the online system. And please next PPT. And the second is what are drawbacks of the current tourism education system responding to COVID-19. I think I found that online course qualities are various due to equipment quality and the teaching skills. And sometimes, usually we use the online course, those equipment, we do a lot of investment immediately because we prepare the online course. But the skill is not easy to to get ready. So we're still working on that. And in the class, the student always usually ask how COVID-19 affect tourism industry. And as you all know, it's hard to answer due to the uncertainty. And I think instead of answering how COVID-19 affects tourism industry, what I like to do is try to discuss with them and brainstorming how to change service types of business model to serve in this crisis during this crisis. Not just tell them the answer because there is no answer from our textbook or because it's a new experience and we need new answer. And the third is what the valuable opportunity COVID-19 presents. I think it's a good opportunity to observe the impacts because although in Taiwan uh, we still we're still in the normal life, but the restaurant or the the theater is the people in the restaurant movie theater is decreased a lot. So we try to the different methods to serve people. And the second is the tourism service type and the procedure have to change before vaccine developed and the life back to normal. I think I think this is very important because uh, before the vaccine developed, I think that our life will still affected by the COVID-19. So we cannot stop the economic development, but we need to develop new types of service in tourism sector. And what I would suggest is because it's very new idea is public health consultant should be involved in tourism industry while facing coronavirus. Our in the travel agent in a hotel, we don't have such kind of counselor or consultant to give us advice what's the characteristics of this virus and how do we prevent the infect or we do need the characteristic of this virus and we need know the the way we got the infect. So then we can offer the new service type or service procedures. I think that's very important for me, for our sector. Next one. The final is how to ensure the quality of education through the online system. I think, first of all, I think during this period, even the professor, the lecturer, or the students, even the society get very worried about the worry about this disease. And also right now, already the situation is to get better, but they start to worry about the economic situation. But what I would suggest is the society should be calmed down and try to look at the solution all together. I think we can cooperate and help each other and to find, because tourism is the biggest industry, and they have influence, and they also have impact. They also have to be impacted by other industry. So we have to calm down and try to look the solution with other sector or other industry. And in terms of the online system education, that's what I think is we try to increase the investment online system in terms of the quality. And also we have to training skills, including ourselves for the new technology. And we also have to plan and develop serious online course, and especially for those practices, the course need the practice course. And finally, I would suggest the motivated student to learn not only the knowledge, but also the ability to face in the crisis. That's what I suggest. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Wang, for this valuable presentation. Great. We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. So I will take just 2 comments due to our limited time. So is there anyone who have any comments or questions?
I think it's for the very good effort. And I think it's important that what we can learn through the direct sharing of knowledge tends to create a very powerful learning tool. When I start to think that you compare an online education with a face-to-face situation, face-to-face has always stood out. And we'll have to find some ways in future that how do we bring that back, because giving the same experience as in a face-to-face class through an online experience, it can be a very tricky situation for us to work.
I agree with you, Professor. And I think that part of the challenge too is that we just don't have the technology and the skills are still not have reached that level to make it the same as we had before. Yeah. I think I really appreciate the panel bringing all different types of things in, especially looking at it from all different perspectives, from how the students, Dr. Dean Lim, asking the students what they felt. And there's a disconnect because you do have the technology, but they don't have the technology at home. And because of that, they think that the services aren't as good. And this happens. This happens. Sometimes there's a miss. Yeah. And I that was a very interesting synopsis there. And I just thought, we have that too. We have the students.
What I can add, to what Professor Jerome is saying, that, growing up in different cultures, you find that certain cultures put a lot of emphasis on teaching and learning and university education and so on. So when such students are at home, they find that they actually concentrate more on the studies because there is a bit of a motivation or pressure from the home environment as well.
Yes.
Which sometimes they don't experience when they are out. If they've traveled from, say, Vietnam to New Zealand, they feel very independent all of a sudden.
Yes, I also would like to add something as well. I think that during this time, the COVID-19 gives us the opportunity for the online teaching. And online teaching is very good for the small classes. For example, as we can see from this panel, when we are able to put the student into panel, they have more concentration to discuss in the closed environment. And also it saves their time for traveling from traffic jams. And also during the rainy season, we frequently have the problem about the flu. And also this is a very good time for the student to spend time at their home to communicate. But the online teaching may not be appropriate for the large classes like hundreds of students or the laboratory when the student cannot have like instant interaction with the faculty member. But in general, I also still supported the online teaching during the COVID-19.
And I have to agree with what the professor just said. She mentioned in her presentation, crisis management. They have no choice but to understand and exhibit what crisis management is because it's affecting them all. As she mentioned that so many folks lost their jobs. Here in Hawaii, we're living it every day that we're in crisis management because we went from 10 million tourists to hundreds. So all these people are unemployed. And right now we have a very good unemployment because the federal government is giving $600 American on top of unemployment for every week. So we have a lot of people actually making more money not working than they did working. The challenge is for the foreseeable future, it's going to be, we're not going to have the hotels full. We just can't. There's just no way to bring all the people here. Because we're an island, we're safe. But it's just, there's no way to get everybody there. So the hotels will not be able to employ as many people. So there's so many people looking forward saying, oh, what am I going to do for work? Because Hawaii is tourism. It's the #1 employer. It's the economic engine that drives the state. And yes, go ahead.
And I also would like to add that during the COVID-19 and any other crisis, crisis management is important. But another thing, like Professor Agrusa mentioned, resilience, what we have learned from the crisis, and also find the opportunity in the crisis. Like, for example, when we talk about the hotel, we also found like some hotel have converted themselves into the quarantine hotel. And they are the business during the COVID-19. And in fact, when they collaborate with hospital, the income that they get is also like more than expected. That is also another opportunity that people can find during the crisis.
And one of the things that I brought up to our administration of the state is we're because the tourism has been so strong for so long, and we have very strong unions where folks that are working line workers in the hotel at the front desk or housekeeping even, they make $25 American per hour, plus free medical. This is a very, very good job. And because of that, a lot of folks didn't continue their education. So here, when we have that the tourism is not going to expand rapidly like we hope, but it just cannot for the next 6 months, probably half of the hotel workers will not be employed by Christmas. So here, what the state should do is try to give them education, give a voucher where they could go to community college, come to the university. Those that didn't finish their high school, give them GED studies, so that we can increase the education level for the state. And then if we try to diversify the product, whether it's going to go into technology or so on, that they have that. And this is a great opportunity. As you mentioned, there's a challenge and we can twist it and use it for an opportunity. And not because I'm a professor. Yes, are we going to benefit if there's more students that come? But they're not all coming for the tourism. It's going to be for other areas. But education as a whole, if we can raise that, it's going to help the state.
So largely you will observe that whenever the unemployment is high, universities do quite good.
Correct. We had the lowest unemployment in the United States for the last 5 years. We had 0 unemployment. Zero. Where every shop you go to, every restaurant, every hotel, they have a help wanted sign. Starbucks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes.
That was in January,
Okay,
and now
Yes.
it's complete opposite.
okay, thank you all. And I'd like to deliver my special thanks to all of you to join this APTA and DTU co-host first webinar. And I really appreciate for your input. And this will be our first try, and the second webinar will be followed next week. So I think it was excellent, and we just started our first step to be online from our teams first. So I really thank you for your contribution for the success of the first webinar today. Thank you so much.
ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Aloha, kapun kap.
So Dr. Joe, would you like to close?
So me too, I would like to express my sincere thanks and respects to all of you. And I hope that this webinar helps our audience to understand the current issues and challenges on tourism education caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So our second webinar on preparing for tourism education in the post-COVID-19 era will be organized on the next Tuesday, 30th June. So don't miss our second webinar. So thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next Tuesday. Thank you and bye-bye.
บ๊ายบาย
Okay.
See you.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.